Welcome back to the Dividend Diplomats YouTube channel, guys. You got your boys, Bert, the Hurt, and Lanny, the Dividend Diplomats, guys. And we're here to talk about three of my longest term dividend stock holdings. And the question is, are they undervalued? And are these dividend stocks to buy right now in 2024?
Let them know, Lanny. I think that's the $1 million question. Let them know. Before you let them know, Lanny, subscribe to our channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Holla at your boys and help us get to 20,000
Go.
subscribers.
Come on,
That's,
guys.
that's right. Once we hit 20,000, Lanny, we're bringing something back here.
Oh, yeah,
We're,
that's
bring,
right.
we're bringing the Natty Daddy back. I will drink a delicious, cold Natty Daddy once we hit that 20,000.
We'll crack one in person, and we'll
Yeah,
do some Natty Daddy 20K grand
that's
special episode, guys. But today it's all about three dividend stocks. Today we're talking about three stocks that I've owned for over 13 years, safely to say
yeah.
12 to
These are
13 years plus. These are stocks that I've probably bought in '09, 2010
yeah, these are
era.
these are definitely in your OG era, like the OG era of your portfolio.
And this definitely goes back to the you know, ING share builder account.
You can buy it once a week for cheaper fee.
Every Tuesday, that $4 trade, man. If you know, you know.
Yeah, God, is that your favorite saying now?
Yep, it is.
No, you're gonna do that saying you're gonna have to take it easy, Lanny. Take it easy. Hey, 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 take
Hey,
it.
if you guys remember though the ING share builder prior to Capital One acquiring that, let us know in the comments below. Definitely give this video already a thumbs up and a subscribe for the. All right, let's rewind the
Yeah,
tapes,
let's go.
guys. But I've owned these stocks. I've held these stocks for over a decade now. I'm looking at the three stocks right now on the screen, and I have no any soon plans to exit out at all. In fact, probably two of the three have been my best performers in my stock portfolio. Sometimes you can get very lucky with timing, that's for damn sure. So we're gonna take all three. We're gonna push them through the DD stock metrics. Bro, you want to hit them with the metrics real quick for us?
Not really.
No. All
Not
right.
really. They don't need to hear them. Kidding. It's metric number one, price earnings ratio less than the S&P 500. Metric two, payout ratio less than 60%. Metric three, history of increasing dividends. And that bonus metric, the dividend yield.
Man, Bert.
Yeah,
So
that's it.
should we just rip the Band-Aid with the first stock here on this list?
Yeah, if there's gonna be one that you rip the band-aid with and you work on talking about drugs and medication, it's the appropriate one, isn't it?
That is the appropriate one. We'll rip the Band-Aid off after you've gotten one of their vaccines because, guys, Pfizer, PFE is probably my longest stock holding that I've held in my portfolio back when they were in the low teens, maybe
Yeah.
13, 14-ish era, when I first bought them back in the heyday. They're now trading at 29.47. Obviously, they've been dealt with big blows, expecting about 60 billion in revenue this year, which is down obviously from 2022's 100 billion in revenue, and about pretty consistent with 2023, right, Bert?
Yeah, the COVID boost and the COVID boost to their revenue is gone, I should say. So they're back to where they were. Still strong revenue amounts. That's the funny thing with Pfizer. It's not as if all their sales just evaporated overnight. They still have a base of $60 billion in revenue for the company.
Yeah. Yeah, it's leading right now to a 13 PE.
Mhm.
The dividend payout ratio is very high though right now, guys, based on the $2.22 EPS and $1.68 dividend. Um, Spread over obviously 42 cents a quarter. So 76% of the payout ratio, Bert.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth monitoring to see, especially if sales continue to trend downward. Earnings might not rebound the way you're expecting them to. There's room to, not to say there's a dividend cut, but room to say that the dividend is probably not going to continue growing for a long period of time until the earnings start going as well.
You are correct.
So
Uh,
speaking of dividend growth here, their 5-year dividend growth rate is 3.83%. Increase that dividend probably every single year since you've owned them, right, Lanny, for 13 plus years.
I was there from the beginning.
Started from the bottom, now we're here. So what's that yield, Lanny? Let's look at that bonus metric.
That dividend yield now, guys, since they're down 39% in the last 52 weeks, they were definitely a beat up stock in 2023 to say the least. But actually, they are up 2% so far in the first week, outpacing the S&P 500.
Oh, call it a
Um,
comeback for
but
Pfizer.
that dividend yield is just under 6% at 5.7%. So you're definitely getting a little dividend pay bump right now, for lack of a
Yeah.
better way.
So to summarize it here, the PE is 13.27, payout 75%. 5-year dividend growth rate is 3.83%. They've increased for 13 years and they are paying you to wait with a 5.70 dividend yield. Lanny, who is the second company from your OG portfolio that you want to take a look at?
Number two. Yeah, let's slide in. Let's slide into that second company, guys. I don't have my wallet up here with me, but let's
Don't
just say
either.
that we're going to the payments arena. Visa, ticker symbol is V, and I've owned them before, splits and all that have happened with Visa. I've owned them for, yeah, probably 14 years, let's call it. Um, and wow, they're currently trading at $260 per share right now. And they're actually up about 19% in the last 52 weeks, trailing the S&P 500, which is quite interesting. Flat so far through that first full week of January, guys, because we are filming this on January 7th. How do the metrics look right now for Visa? Is this an undervalued dividend stock?
Let's see, their PE ratio is 26.26, so it's right in line with where the S&P 500 is. I mean, you think that's high until you take a look at
You
what
think
Visa
this high?
historically is. And
Wait till you see Victor Wembanyama at the,
at the Cavs game.
how do you say the last name?
Isn't it Wembyana? I just call him Wemby.
Wembanyama. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wembanyama.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
call him Wemby. Makes my life a lot easier. That dude
yeah,
is
that's
tall.
good.
So for a quick background, I went to the Cavs game today to see the Spurs, just to see this guy play. And your first reaction is, my God, that guy is tall. Like it is, he
I
is
can still dunk
unnaturally
on.
tall compared to the rest of the teams, like rest of the people. All right. Anyway, so yes, you can say, especially when Visa's standing next to Pfizer with a 13 PE ratio, they are like 1V with that 26 PE ratio for Visa, who historically always has them because they're a high growth, high PE ratio stock.
Yep, there we have it, guys. They currently pay $2.08, or 52 cents a quarter. So earnings are around 10, paying a little over 2. That dividend payout ratio is so freaking low at 21%. Just shows that they really want to keep staying ahead of the curve, keep reinvesting back into the payment space, their business, to try to be pretty much in everybody's wallet, whether that's, you know,
Yeah.
partnering with any, institution essentially. And that Bert, you got to get into that dividend growth right now. It's the best part.
16.33%, and they've increased it for 15 plus years. So you've probably been around for almost every single dividend increase if you haven't been around for everyone. That's the beauty of it. Even though they have a low yield, which we'll talk about in a second, they have such high dividend growth. It's historically, the average is 16%, it always feels like it's a 20+% increase for them.
Very strong. And, so the dividend yield is only 0.8. So you might be like, oh my gosh, how dare you? How dare you bring a 0.8% dividend yielding stock to this channel, guys? But it's all about growth, obviously quality, and that's what Visa brings. And that 5-year average, though, is 0.64%. So they are trading slightly above that.
Yeah, so to summarize, their PE ratio is 26, payout ratio is 21%, 5-year dividend growth rate 16%. Increase that dividend for 15 plus years to the yield of 0.8%. We've been through 2, Pfizer, Visa. Who is numero tres, Lanny?
Number 3, let's go the trifecta here, guys. Let's slide into Lockheed Martin, into that defensive space right now. Ticker symbol is LMT, and similar story here. I've owned them since 2011, 2010, possibly end of 2009. I have to look back at the date. We'll call it 2010 though, at some point towards the second half. But they are trading at $456.50, and actually traded pretty much flat from last year to this, from where we were January of last year to now.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting, right? Especially they were down in the low 300s. That's right. I think I grabbed like 8 shares. And they just,
Nice.
yeah, unfortunately, with everything that's going on in the world, they shot back up to over 400s because they are a defense company. So they're going to benefit when there's conflict, when there are issues that require governments to spend more on defense. and now their price shot back up to over 450. So it's a good spot for Lockheed.
Nice job, though. I mean, for
Yeah,
grabbing that. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
just,
Makes me wish I would have
it's
gone bought even more. That's the funny thing.
it pumps me up though when
Yeah.
you know, that's awesome.
Yeah, especially thank you, especially with a company like Lockheed. So let's jump into the metrics here with that 456.50 price. The earnings per share is 26.74. PE ratio of 17.07.
Hmm,
Yeah,
not bad,
no,
guys. Not
not at
bad.
all. Not bad for Lockheed. Laney, tell us about that payout ratio.
Yeah, let's get into that dividend here, guys. So they pay $3.15 per share per quarter, $12.60 annually. That's a dividend payout ratio of 47%. So not as low as Visa, not as high as Pfizer. They said, yo, we'll meet you right in the middle here. Let's get 47%. Room to grow, room to continue to grow the dividend as well.
Yeah, and they have a very nice dividend growth rate. It's 8.19%, and they've increased it for 20 years. So they're almost an aristocrat. The funny
Ooh,
thing with Lockheed is it's always very consistent. It's always what, 20 cents per quarter. That's what it's been the last
you
like
know,
40
they
years.
definitely love hammering out those 20-cent increases. What was that last one? Let's just do a
20 it was
quick
20
double.
20 cents per, I guarantee you.
It's-
Let's pull it up. Let's pull up. Pull it up,
It was
Lane.
15. It was 15. It was
Oh
15.
man, all right. Eggs on my face here. So let's change topics and talk about the yield because we'll pretend that conversation never happened. Their dividend yield is 2.76%. Not bad.
Nice.
Yeah, not
Not
bad.
bad. Not bad. Showing some good metrics.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's right. It's not terribly high over their 5-year average yield of 2.6%. It's only 16 basis points higher. So it's not like Pfizer. It's not even like Visa, who has a much higher percentage over its 5-year average. It's pretty much in line with a slight premium. So not the cheapest from that metric.
Not the cheapest, but not the most expensive. But let's show the three stocks here. Again, we want to do a fun video on the three longest term holdings. And, it's always weird buying a stock that you bought, 15 years ago. I know I was buying some shares of Pfizer during 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Pfizer, I own enough of. I currently am okay. Only my one concern is that dividend growth may be dismal going forward for the next 1 to 3 years. That's just my take, Bert. I don't know
Yeah.
about you.
Nope. I'm with you on that one. What about Visa?
Visa, they have to drop a little bit for me, maybe 225 range for me to start looking like a 10%. Give me a 10% drop, and then I'll
All right.
I'll be smelling around Visa. I'll be looking at my wallet saying, hey, not only am I going to use this to swipe, but hey, let me see if I can swipe in my dividend stock portfolio.
So what about Lockheed? Let's see what you do with this one.
Lockheed, damn. I mean, metrics are looking pretty sound. Would love a 3% yield with this dividend growth stock, obviously. So that's shaving down to close to 400 maybe.
Yeah, building a nice defensive position of Lockheed if you get the chance to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
again, not going to be like high up on my dividend stock watch list, but it's always fun to look back at some of your old positions to say, hey,
sure.
keep adding to other areas. Is there time to add back to some of these oldies but goodies?
Yeah,
But in the order, Lockheed, Visa, Pfizer would be on my book. What about you, Bert? Any
yeah. I
take?
mean, I would say going from here, in order of what I would buy right now would be Pfizer, Lockheed, Visa. But I agree with your overall, not pretending like I'm buying any. I would say Lockheed, Visa, Pfizer. Question is, everyone, what do you think of these three companies? Are you watching them like Laney is? Or are you being a little more stubborn and waiting for those prices to fall? Let us know in that comment section down there.
Guys, if you haven't, smash that subscribe button. Help us get to 20,000 subscribers. Come on, we've been preaching it for about a year. Let's get there. Let's get over the hump. Like this video. And guys, you're either with us or you're against us, Jack. That was Bert the Hurt and Lanny from the Dividend Diplomats. Over and out.